stay out too late. Got nothing in my brain. That's what people say. That's what people say. Mm-hmm. There it is. There it is.
Out for the...
Everybody, welcome back to another fun-filled episode of Mostly Harmless, a podcast for friends, family, and countrymen alike. I'm Matt Howes.
And I'm Sarah Howes.
And together we make the Mostly Harmless duo.
Look at us 2 Fridays in a row, you guys.
Fuck that
hey now.
noise.
Hey now.
You're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play.
Oh, man. Because
the years start coming and they don't stop coming.
Okay, nothing is more true than that. And then what does Hanson say?
Bop, zippy dop, bop, dop, doo wop.
Many relationships say only one or two will last.
What was that rap song that says like, it's like, fuck, I remember what it was, but it's basically like, tells you like, you know, you don't hang out at the parties as long anymore. You don't have as many friends anymore.
You know who else just died? The guy, one of the singers or one of the rappers from City High, who they had the song, "What would you do if your son was at home crying alone on the bedroom floor because he's hungry?" Anyways, we had no business knowing the words to that song when we were like 12.
What would you do when your son is at home crying on the bedroom floor because he's hungry and the only way to feed him is to blow a dude?
Sleep with a man for a little bit of money. Mm-hmm. Anyways, R.I.P. to everyone who's been dying.
Fucking A, man. Too much.
Yeah.
And R.I.P. to those who died that didn't get national recognition. R.I.P. to all.
R.I.P. to people who die. Except for...
Bad people.
Bad people.
Fuck those bad people.
Rotten hell.
Rot and die, motherfuckers.
Brian Koberger, hope you're enjoying prison, my dude.
Dude, those fucking victim impact statements where that woman was like, you're going to get that physical contact that you wanted.
Yeah.
Be like, I get it, but like, whew.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do we got on the docket to die?
So you're in a...
I'm a fun girly today.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I made that liquid IV water. I didn't put anything in it.
What'd you put in it?
I did not put anything in it.
I'm very hydrated right now. I'm so fucking hydrated right now. I'm fucking hydrated.
Your molecules are
goddamn. Just fucking synergy happening right now.
Today, we are going to talk about rich people problems. And
Mo problems.
I'm not talking about getting caught cheating at a Coldplay concert.
Yeah, that's your own fucking problems.
I'm talking about something much worse.
Like being crushed to death in an instant beneath the waves.
All because you just have some fascination with the Titanic.
One must find the irony in them naming their company Oceangate, which is basically the premise of any scandal since Watergate. Watergate, Deflategate, fucking all that shit. I'm like,
you'd know about that, Patriots.
But which is dumb, and I've always held to the gate thing being dumb because it wasn't the Water Hotel and Gate means. It was the Watergate Hotels.
So we're going to be covering Oceangate, and there were 2 documentaries that came out. One was on Netflix.
One was on HBO, right?
And one was on HBO. The HBO one was a little bit more boring, but we're going to be talking kind of about the docs, but mostly about
the situation. Because of the implications. So who's this guy? Stockton Rush, the third. Scam artist.
Third. Yeah. So, when this first happened, I remember like being at work. And
I remember the week of like when they were looking for
like the oxygen countdown, and I remember when it hit like they are out of oxygen, I was like, oh damn. Like that really like affected me for whatever reason. And then like the internet was interneting and it's like, oh, rich people problems, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, like you have so much fuck you money that you put yourself in like a ridiculously dangerous situation for no fucking reason. No reason.
So, sorry.
But then come to find out after watching, especially the Netflix documentary,
I had the guy in it.
Yeah, I really feel like these people, these poor people, like, and yeah, they were rich and had fuck you money, but they were really sold a bill of goods that like wasn't actually like for real. And I really feel bad for that like 19-year-old kid who, you know, was just going along with his dad.
But I find it hard to feel bad. The kid, if he was basically dragged along, I feel bad for him. Find it hard to feel bad for any of these people because it has nothing to do with their wealth. It has nothing to do with whatever they may. I don't know. I know nothing of their personal business dealings or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It has everything to do with you literally listened to the dumb kid down the street who said, I just built a rocket ship in my backyard. Do you want to go?
Yeah, but they didn't. They believed as a salesman, he did a good job. He pitched them. They bought it and they were duped. And in that, just on that, you know, watering it down to that level, I feel bad. I feel bad that they got duped and it cost them their lives. Let's start with who Stockton Rush was.
It's like the fire festival.
Exactly.
In a submarine.
Exactly. That's exactly a great analogy because
you can use that.
When it's the fire festival and people are just, you know, getting
their cheese sandwiches done.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And it's not like the swanky vacation they imagined. Okay. But when it's, a cheese sandwich 4,000 meters down, you know, anyways. So Stockton Rush, born in 1962, died in 2023, was an American entrepreneur, engineer, and deep sea explorer, best known as the co-founder and CEO of Oceangate. He was, that was the company behind the Titan Submersible. He died in June 2023 during a catastrophic implosion of the Titan while attempting a descent to the Titanic wreck. So what's really interesting about Stockton Rush is so he is born into like old money.
Right. He did not earn his wealth the natural way.
No. So he is a descendant of two people that signed the Declaration of Independence.
To be fair, I am a descendant of the guy who shot Hamilton in some way.
Aaron Burr.
I came over on the Mayflower. Personally.
I'm a descendant of just my ancestors.
I am a Mayflower Society guy. I just
my
haven't filled my
ancestors have only inadvertently done things for me, and they haven't.
Selfishly, her ancestors have done nothing noteworthy.
They haven't revolutionized. But anyways, that's pretty cool to be a descendant of someone who signed the Declaration of Independence. So the signers were Richard Stockton and Benjamin Rush. So that's, I guess, where his name comes from. Bless you.
Excuse me.
He married a woman named Wendy Rush, who was a descendant of Isidore and Ida Strauss. They started Macy's.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard about that.
And they died on the Titanic.
Yep.
So that's like an interesting little tidbit. Apparently, this guy, average student, but he had dreams of grandeur. I guess he like super wanted to be an astronaut at one point, but then he was like, hey, you know what? Like the sea is actually where it's at, man. So he started trying to pivot and really revolutionize the submersible. He wanted to squatty potty the submersible industry.
And what was right off the bat, when they start getting to like structure of this submarine that they're designing, they're like, well, we don't want to use like heavy steel. We don't want to use this, that,
What
the
did
other
they
thing.
use? Carbon fiber?
Use carbon fiber, and which is basically a fancy, incredibly tensile strength plastic, right? It's not metal. It's not like, I mean, it's very strong. Carbon fiber is used in body armors and often on vehicles and stuff like that. It's definitely not meant for the amount of pressure that the ocean has in it. And he's basically going around being like, no, but we're revolutionizing. Like, we're using materials that no one would use to build a submarine. Like, all stuff that salesmen will say to be like, look how great I am. Meanwhile, it's like, there's probably a reason nobody uses those materials to build a submarine, because carbon fiber, if you could picture it like think of it like canvas, with all these strings held together, you know, but like when you damage one part of the canvas. Actually, this is an old Boy Meets World reference. Sean and Corey were in a fight. They were fighting over a girl or something like that, and their friendship was torn asunder. Mr. Feeney in the back was talking to the boy who met the world, Corey, and he goes,
The boy who met the world.
He goes, it's like, Mr. Matthews, you see this canvas? It's very, very strong. Very strong. You couldn't rip it. You couldn't break it if you want to try it. But watch what happens when you put a small tear in this canvas. He puts a small tear in it, and you can rip it apart with ease. Carbon fiber, once the damage starts, it is a dominoes. So like what, and they even said this in the documentary. You start hearing these acoustic vibrations that says that the stress has damaged some of the carbon fiber, and that is the sign that that there's too much pressure, because it goes from 0 to 60 very quickly on that. And so again, they're like, yeah, but we're doing this. They go to, what happened in this latest test? 4,000 psi. A lot of pressure. I work in hydraulics. That is high pressure. Absolutely. The ocean is incredibly high pressure at those depths. 4,000 is barely halfway to the Titanic. Or I think it might be slightly halfway to the Titanic when they showed the little thing of where it is. At 4,000 PSI, this thing just imploded. That was the end of it. And that did not stop this guy. And the engineers were like, this is not good.
And then they started bringing in people that were younger, like just fresh college graduates.
People that would agree with them on...
Right, or who just, you want to make a name. You want to get yourself in front of the sharks. Like if this is Shark Tank and you got your squatty potty and you think you got it all figured out.
He had this Scottish engineer that really seemed to know what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah.
And he was the guy who was kind of going along being like, when things were starting to get bad, like he was okay on board for let's try and revolutionize, let's try and do some different stuff, but we got to do it the right fucking way. And as things started failing and he started being more vocal about the stuff, he goes, all of a sudden I'm being left off emails and I'm not part of this project anymore, because I'm not agreeing with the guy. And it's like, you're this arrogant fucking old money billionaire literally goes, he releases an article about his thing, and they're like, we basically had our own proprietary technology that we created, that's ours, that has no one else overseeing it but us, says that our submarine is great. And it's like, so you're saying your submarine is perfectly fine without going to independent verification or third-party verification, which they literally went out of their way to avoid additional, like, people. They had to say that they couldn't say that people were passengers because...
They were mission specialists or
so
something?
If they were passengers, because what the guy said was pretty simple, was like, if you want to build a plane and you want to take someone up in the background and that plane goes into flames, you can do that as long as you don't charge people money to do it. And you don't call, like, they have to be part of the design team or whatever. And then they're just experimenters and they're able to do what they want. So you weren't allowed to call these people passengers. They were mission specialists and blah, 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 blah. So they took you have to flag a vessel. So any kind of sea vessel, whether it be submersible or otherwise, like a boat or something like that, has to have a flag, a country of origin. That is the country that is responsible for whatever that vessel does. Like you were saying, that ship that crashed into the bridge.
To the Brooklyn Bridge.
It was flagged from Mexico.
It was like a Mexican Navy ship.
And so whatever that ship
it's
does.
It's like, hey, Mexico, what's up? What happened there?
And so what they did was, and I had texted this to you, so they flagged the Oceangate Titan Submersible was flagged as being registered in the Bahamas. So great, we're in the Bahamas. But it was later revealed that the Bahamas Maritime Authority had rejected their registration application, making it essentially stateless. So no one had any, like, okay, it's our problem. You know what I mean? Like, which seems like a gray area of, like, I think it has to default to somewhere, because you can't just be like, well, they rejected it, so we're going to be... That's a whole different animal. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, well, since they rejected it, I guess we can do whatever we want.
Let's rewind. Or I guess let's side tangent for a second.
Let's go.
Let's talk about what actually what brings us here today. So, Stockton Rush, I guess he was making a name for himself. Kind of like, they say it in the Netflix documentary. He aspired to be like a Jeff Bezos, a Steve Jobs. What did he call it? Like big dick energy. He wanted, Bezos is really into space tourism and making that like a thing. He wanted to be the Bezos of the ocean, like do that. Like he wanted to make aquatic tourism a thing. And
which, I mean, to a small degree, it is.
I guess he was making a name for himself in the industry, in the submersible industry.
He made a name for himself.
He sure did. I don't really follow that kind of niche, so
you don't keep your thumb on the pulse of the submersible industry?
No, so I only, unfortunately, probably like a lot of people, I only heard about this when it went missing. So the Oceangate Titan disaster occurred on June 18th, 2023, when the Titan Submersible, operated by Oceangate Expedition, suffered a catastrophic implosion during its descent to view the wreck of the Titanic in the North Atlantic. All 5 people on board died instantly. So this occurred about an hour and 45 minutes into the dive. The Titan lost communication with its support ship. When it failed to resurface, as planned, a massive search began. So that's when it was on the news. Coast Guard's getting called in. Because this is a nationless vessel, right. It's like, who's gonna help us? What country is gonna own this? You know, and
because I don't know if you researched this, and I'm not sure either. Where in the ocean is the Titanic?
It's like right
by the
outside
Antarctic Circle.
No, it's right outside like Newfoundland, Canada.
Okay, all right. So it's off, like not off the coast, but like if you went out, you kind of like closer to Canada then. I
believe so. But I remember, because of course, while the submersible is missing, like before they found the wreckage, they bring on James Cameron as one would when talking about this.
I mean, he basically owns the Titanic.
That's the way we report the news.
Well, Jim Cameron, I call him Jim. We're buds. We're okay. Buds. Jim Cameron, I think, basically was like, don't fucking do this. He said he had times where he almost wasn't able to get back up.
I think he went a number of times down.
He's been up and down several. He's been the most of anyone alive, anyways. And
he said that it was a terrifying undertaking, like each time. And I think at least once he got into a precarious situation where Yeah, because remember that dive where the Scottish guy had to basically take over, because
so what
Stockton
happened in
got
one of
them
them
into a debris field
they were
or
doing
something.
they were doing a test dive in shallow waters because they were about 35 meters down, I believe is what they said when they were radioing it up. And the dummy was piloting the PlayStation controller with the sub, and he basically got them jammed under because they were visiting like a different wreck that was off the coast because they said that it was under the bow of another ship basically.
I don't know.
And this is from that documentary, so I was just watching it, and the guy had to back them out. Like he literally basically the Scottish dude who seemed to be the only one who had a decent head on his shoulders about the situation kind of pushed the rich dude who started this whole thing out of the way and we had to back up straight for like 50 meters or something to get out, and then we were able to get out. And at that point, why weren't you just like, this guy doesn't fucking know how to pilot? Because when you're doing a submarine, you need to be aware of your 360 bubble. Like anything, nothing can be in your way. You can get caught on something and you don't have any leverage to get yourself. You can't just get out. Not even some submarines have a way to get out. This one, you are bolted in.
That right there.
There's no way for you to get out without external help.
That right there would be a fuck no. You're nailing me into my casket.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've already gotten to the point where Sarah said she would not be there.
So this is a game Matt and I like to play, and
mark your time.
Usually happens when we watch shows like Survivor or The Amazing Race, shows I would never go on in 100 million years, but I enjoy watching them. But for some reason, I sit and watch as if I was capable of doing X, Y, and Z thing. And then something will occur and I'd be like, and that's when I'm out. That would have been it for me. As if the chance of me, there was a chance of me, going on Survivor, lasting to the final.
Like the application was a bridge too far for you. I don't know why you think you got past that part of the thing.
So, yeah. Anyways, so say I had the fuck you money. And say I was even remotely interested in visiting the wreck of the Titanic.
Got it.
Say I was like, sure, Stockton Rush. You were
asking me to say quite a lot.
So, okay. So say I get to the point where I'm getting into the submersible. When they start screwing me into it, that I'm like, yeah, you guys, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah,
can't do it.
And there's no portholes. You're looking at everything through cameras.
So
I was just saying, I'm like, you're going down there, just send a fucking camera down there, because we were physically there, but you're not looking at it with your eyes, which I don't know why that's so important.
It was a window, but it was like a really tiny one.
Well, I get it, because you might want to. Maybe the thing that you need to see for yourself is that after all these years, the swimming pool on the Titanic is still full to this day. Maybe that's what you went down there to see.
So I think the other thing that they
did not laugh at my joke. I don't think you gave that enough time. I feel like the people at home, much like a studio audience, were laughing. So they were laughing over what you said, so they did not hear your lines.
I will insert here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, and then insert also, here is a handy dandy chart of the amount of deaths attributed to the Titanic.
That is a good meme.
And we're going to put that in here.
Yeah, we'll put that in here as well. At this point, it's been over 100 years since the Titanic sank. In my opinion, and feel free to disagree with me, I really feel like the only reason to even go down to the wreckage, being that it's so old and unpreserved, because it's just that it's not like, we have the Declaration of Independence and like the Mona Lisa and like temperature controlled,
right?
Humidity controlled.
Fun fact about the steel used to make the Titanic. So right now, I think they've figured out a way around it, but there's only so much metal that we can use to make some of these very precise medical instruments that is not affected by the ambient radiation that's been present in our atmosphere since we tested nuclear bombs. So the purity of the metal is less than ideal for what it's used for. So the Titanic is one of the largest sources of pre-nuclear testing iron. Like if we were able to get that up, you could repurpose that into these medical instruments. But all the stuff that's been around since we like blew up nuclear bombs has this faint radioactive signature to it that can affect these very precise medical instruments. I think they've come up recently with a workaround for that, but it was one of those things where it's like, this is a problem. We've kind of done some shit we probably shouldn't have.
Well, so my opinion is that based off of what we watched in the Netflix documentary, people were saying that the wreckage is deteriorating.
Yeah, it's oxidized.
Yeah, and it's crumbling, and it's actually, I think, I think this grand staircase recently collapsed.
Yeah, because they send probes down to it.
Yeah, so.
Which is what they were doing.
Which is what they should have done it anyway. Anyways, in my opinion, I feel like the only reason to go down to the Titanic at this point would be to map it and to do things like that for the sake of like preserving history. Tourism to go down there, I think would just be it's like sending people to the Great Barrier Reef to just walk on it.
Right. Which is the opposite of what you should do.
Exactly. Like you will do more harm than good with your just touring the Titanic, because especially with Stockton Rush as the pilot, because we see how he just like willy-nilly
don't give a fuck.
Flies. I mean, which is probably what I would be doing if I was piloting a submersible. But anyways, so I really feel like at this point, with the delicate state that the wreckage is in, it really should be handled with the utmost care and only for the sake of preserving the historical value of it.
And I mean, we're at the point where you can send these probes down. They just
who cares if the probe implodes? Yeah,
well, but send the probes down, map the thing, and then be like, great, we got it. Like there really is no, and I mean, come for me if you want to about this, but I don't think there's any impetus to need to go down and visually see the Titanic. Like, just like you said, there's no purpose for it. Like, unless this is like your Everest, I mean, like I'm climbing it, I'm doing it because I can. It's the spirit of man allowing us to do stuff like that, I guess. But like that. But then this turns into play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Like, and how many people die climbing fucking Mount Everest? You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that not everybody needs to do.
Well, and it's interesting because this disaster happened before the Blue Origin space flight with like Katy Perry and Gail King and whoever, Jeff Bezos' wife now. Sure. But the internet lost their mind when, Katy Perry goes to space for 10 minutes, comes back down, and then just like kisses the ground as if and this is all in the meantime while there were two astronauts still stranded at the space station, and she's acting like, oh my gosh, I thought I'd never see. No doubt it was a risk.
So all the people, just on that note, all the people that were on the Blue Origin space thing were a bunch of people who were way too full of themselves to have a genuine experience. But one thing that has been said,
I think there was a couple legitimate astronauts.
Sure. One thing that has been said by almost every astronaut that has gone into space is there is a realization when you look at the world without
small we are.
Not even that, without borders, without different colors for different countries, where you're looking at it on a map, this, like, we really are all just on this one big planet. And like the fact that when you're so far away and you see how small this planet is, we're just being fucking assholes to one another. Like, but that's, I'm like, Katy Perry's not going to have that fucking thought run through her head.
No, she brought up her set list.
She was too big. And then she came down and sung like fucking What a Wonderful World or some stupid shit like that. And it's like, and you know, that was all she was thinking about was what's my gotcha moment out there.
Yeah.
I know this isn't about that, but it is one of those things where it's like, to see our planet from space should be probably one of the most humbling things.
I will say that would be extremely cool. I would be losing my mind the entire time. I wouldn't even be able to. I wouldn't appreciate it.
I've told Sarah I would absolutely, in a heartbeat, if given the opportunity, go and do that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and you know, I will pray for you.
Just wait for me on the ground.
I will wait for you on the ground.
And if I don't make it, I went out the way that I think.
Sure.
If you're gonna go
honestly, would you rather Blue Origin?
Up. I am not a claustrophobic person. I'm very tall. And so I do get uncomfortable when I am like crammed into small spaces. I will say I am like lightly claustrophobic, but I'm fine. I don't like the idea of being stuck inside something that is stuck inside the massive well of pressure from the entirety of the ocean. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not just like I'm stuck in a small cylindrical container. Well, I'm also at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, let's talk actually about the design of this.
You mean the suppository?
Which is ultimately what did them in, was the design of this. It was unlike traditional deep sea submersibles, which use spherical metal pressure vessels.
They're a cool mom.
The Oceangate Titan, its design opted for a cylindrical shape and composite materials. So it sacrificed proven safety for interior space, aka the ability to bring tourists, and weight savings.
Yep.
So that's why they had to make it out of the carbon fiber. It had to be light. There had to be space on the inside.
If you watch this documentary, this guy literally did everything he could to circumvent any normal way. Like, this guy could have built the sub the way a sub is meant to be designed, and it might have not been this catastrophe, but every time he talked about something they did innovative, it was innovative only insofar as others don't do it because it's not the way it should be done. Like, and look what happened. Like, oh, well, we built it like this so we could do this. And it's like, well, the reason we don't build things like that is because you're going to implode. But yeah, everything this guy did was to look at how we did this differently. Look at how we did this the way that, you know, I'm a cool mom. I'm doing it this way. And it's like, yeah, but you're doing it. Like, are you just doing this way because you can say that you innovated it?
Yeah. So they show in at least the Netflix documentary the like waiver that they had to sign to like do this, and it was basically like you're acknowledging you could die, that this is an experimental.
Almost any waiver has all that stuff in it too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: while you only feel so bad for these people with fuck you money, and they did this and it didn't pan out. You know, people, you know, like to make jokes on the internet and stuff. For these people, I actually do feel bad because I feel like they really were misled by Stockton Rush about how much he knew even about what he was doing. I think he had such an inflated sense of ego and sense of self that I feel like he thought he was more of an expert than the experts. And that's why the people that he initially brought in that actually did know what they were talking about, all of a sudden they started butting heads, and then those people would fall to the wayside, and Stockton started bringing in like really green engineers that were just like fresh college graduates that, you know, how cool is it to be a part of something like this? That's a really cool opportunity for a 24-year-old, which one of the guys was like 24.
Yeah.
And
you know, if you think about it, younger engineers, they were just getting out, well, not 24, just getting out of like MIT or something like that. Like they're growing up and they're around new, developing, emerging technologies, and their fingers closer to the pulse than, let's say, the Scottish engineer that was talking to. You know what I mean? Like, when you're fresh out of school, engineering is all about what's on the cutting edge. And these people just out of school are probably closer to the cutting edge. So I could see that would be a benefit.
And if they're on the cutting edge and they're young, maybe they're willing to take
a little
more
naivety
risks
attached to it. Yeah.
So, but all of that, all of the like politics of the business and the butting of heads and stuff, like these people that ended up paying to go on this, they didn't know what. I think one of the guys was like a French, he was an experienced diver, or not diver, but
submarinist.
Yeah, if that's hold on. I have his name was like PJ something. Hold on. Oh, Paul Henry Nargelet. He was a Titanic expert. And I think he had like been to the wreckage. He had done dives before, like in submersibles. So
God, they would be so annoying to be.
Yeah.
Anyone who describes themselves as a Titanic expert.
Well,
like,
there's like historians.
No, but like think about it at a party. Oh God, it's old PJ's back talking about the fucking Titanic again.
Yeah.
Like, can we get
But
a new
then there
tune?
was like a businessman.
Yeah.
And his son.
A businessman.
And it's like, I feel so bad. Like, did this businessman, was he just like, oh yeah, like that would be cool. A cool, like.
I would do some cool shit with a lot of money. I absolutely. Like, it provides you access to an upper echelon level of stuff to do.
And you have this like VIP exclusive.
And I feel like you
tour.
think that your money can insulate you from all problems, which we all know, and this proves it can't. But like, I don't know if I never feel like I want to be the person on the first run after the test run. Like, you know, okay, we got this thing going, but you guys are going to be the first real passengers.
How much did these passengers know about the failures before, or the infighting or whatever?
This documentary.
Well, so like, did they know that this vessel was never independently certified for deep dives? And previously, several experts had raised concerns about the safety and the design
he actually
approach.
said, he's like, we opted to not get that verification.
Yeah, so, but were the passengers aware that this is how it should go in?
Well, doubtful,
this
because
industry?
Up until we watched this fucking video, I had no idea what flagging a vessel was. You know, I mean, why would you have that information?
Like, I feel like when you think you're just, you know, I like the show Below Deck. When you think you're just like chartering a yacht for the weekend, you think that the yacht you're chartering, they've done all the things to make the yacht in a safe manner, right? And so I'm assuming that so one of these people, I think his name was Hamish. He was an explorer. Then we have the Titanic expert, and we have Stockton. But then we have two people, this businessman and his son, who truly just seemed like straight up along for the ride.
Like, man, I'm just happy to be here.
Exactly. So I'm sure that they didn't do like independent research about submersibles and probably just trusted like these people that I'm paying. I think the ticket was $250,000 a piece.
Yeah.
The people I'm paying $250,000 to know what they're doing.
The submarine looked horrifying.
And people have said, hey, now when people crack jokes about it being ran with a PlayStation controller.
It was an Xbox controller.
Oh, okay. That that's neither here nor there. But like, just the optics of that is kind of silly. Like, was that really
you couldn't
necessary?
have opted for like a professional joystick of some kind?
Yeah, like, did you really need to do that?
Like, you went to the trouble of designing, of innovating a whole fucking submarine, but y'all couldn't come up with your own remote control. You just went out and bought a Logitech game controller and were like, fucking A, right. Like, you put millions of dollars into the development of this sub. Yeah. But the last piece of it, the steering module, you're like, just get a Bluetooth controller from fucking Staples, you know? Like, don't worry about it. Shit, we're running out of time. Let's go get hey, Chad, your kid's Xbox is broken, right? Give me one of those controllers.
Yeah,
that just seemed like that should have been a red flag to anyone to be like, this seems rushed to me.
Even if it was like neither here nor there, like these controllers are perfectly capable of doing that job, whatever. It's just the optics are silly and therefore not to be taken seriously.
It says, I don't know. How could you be? You're already spending money. You're designing this thing.
If I'm the business guy, no. If I'm the son and I'm a 19-year-old boy and I come on this thing and you're steering this with something I play with at home, I'm sure my heart breaks because I really truly wonder if this teenage boy was just like horrified getting into this thing.
I wonder how annoying it would have been for them to just make a fucking panel with some buttons and some levers. Like, you know what I mean? Make it look like a fucking sophisticated submarine.
Even if it's, what do they call it? The TSA,
security theater.
Security theater.
Just make it, that's what I'm saying. Make it look, fucking put a decal on it that said your sub's name. Not just like, it still had the logo was still on the thing. Like, for God's sake, this is not, they designed this thing from the ground up. Like, so there was no thought of, or they intended all along to use a wireless controller, you know? Like, where did that come in? You didn't come up with your own way of like making a panel to drive a submarine while you were literally designing the submarine. Like, you went around every possible safety measure, you innovated the shit out of it, you built it, but you were like, nah, I'm just gonna cut corners on this last piece. Like, that was gonna be the fucking step too far.
And again, I've watched YouTube videos that have like, you know, gone into the science of everything, and
it's optics.
I don't think that was absurd in and on its face to man this with a PlayStation controller or whatever kind of controller, but
no more absurd than the endeavor itself.
Yeah, so I think the real issue was the safety. Making it out of carbon fiber, changing the shape, because I think what like James Cameron always went down, it was like a ball.
So the pressure diffusing ball number one. So as the pressure, picture it like when water goes over a ball, it just washes over it. That's not quite that simple, but the pressure kind of finds buoyancy there, right? A cylinder, instead of going a ball, now you have any spot. So picture it's like a Tylenol pill is what it looked like, you know, so like a round but long in the middle. Now that long in the middle is a spot. It's essentially a crumple zone. You've designed into your vessel a spot that is instead of being round and washing over it, on those parts, the flat cylinder part, it's heavy. Like that's one surface that can get crushed out. I don't know. It's just from my limited knowledge of hydrodynamics, like. Very limited. But one thing I do know about...
where you're tapping out on Survivor?
Right around 2,000 meters.
It was the game controller for you. It was the game controller for you.
That would have been where I tapped out. Like, if I fucking saw that, like, unless they waited till I was bolted in to show me that... Because then I'd be like, wait a minute. Wait, this? No, fuck that. No. First of all, no, it'd be like, ding, ow, fuck. No, but like, no, but it is. So the circle is like the really the only thing that can kind of diffuse that pressure in a way where there's no one spot that's getting hit with more pressure than any other spot. Because of how a circle works, right?
But the reason why they changed the shape was so
to
that
fit
they
people
could,
in it.
yeah.
And it'd be a little ridiculous to make a giant sphere because that would also defeat because again, so pressure, it's inverse. The bigger you get, the less pressure it's going to take to crush. So it's the same as with like hydraulic hoses. So a 2-inch hose is going to have less of a pressure rating than like a 1/2-inch hose because the bigger you get, pressure is inversely proportional. So the bigger it is, it's a bigger area. The larger the area, the easier it is to crush. The smaller the area, the harder it is to crush. It's pretty simple stuff. Pretty scientific stuff.
Sure.
I'm like, but so yeah, I mean, I justifiably, you don't want to make take the fucking sphere in Vegas and submerge that down to because it just wouldn't work. But could you have come up with a slightly different solution? Like you're basically saying we've come up with a way to get down there. It's worked. We've done it 100 times, but no, we know better. I came up with this idea last week to go to the Titanic, and I know better than Jim Cams.
How much did these other 4 people know about they intentionally didn't get certified or whatever? They weren't really flagged by a country. Like all these things that would be big red flags that you're like, maybe I don't want to go with this company because this all seems real sus.
Little sketch.
Yeah. Anyways,
I don't know. It's a whole
Oceangate.
It sucks. I don't know. I'm not a big fan.
It's sad. It was extremely sad. You know, it obviously captured everyone's attention. It's a sad story and a lesson learned too.
The sad tale of a man who flew too close to the sun. His wings melted. Mm-hmm. He just crashed into the ocean. And that was the end of it. But that's all we got for you today. We got to head out. We got to do things. Kids sleeping, things to do, beds to go to sleep in. We got to go follow us on all the social medias. Do mostly no harm. Head on over to the website, www.level42studios.com, where you can head on over to the contact page to drop us a line, question, comment, concern, or just a hey, how are you? Well, hey, how are you? You know, check out our full body of work. Sarah Spills has had a couple new videos recently, soon more to come. Reality Squad's always got something going on. And then you got everything else that's on that website. So feel free to head on over. We do always address listener requests, so send as many as you want. But that's it. We got to go. So as always,
do mostly
no harm.
have a good one, you guys.